Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great week. Week's gone fast for me. We are going to start with hip thrusters. We're going to do them off a bench. If you're working out at home, you can definitely use a sofa, anything that you can rest your head and your shoulders on. I happen to have a bench, so I'm going to do that. You can modify this by decreasing the numbers that you're going to do, or also not use a weight. You'll find your bench, couch, whatever you're going to use. If you're at a gym, you have access, you can use like a body bar to put across too. I'm going to put my shoulders and my head. I'm going to make sure my head and my shoulders are rested on the bench. I'm going to put my weights by my pelvis, or the body bar by my pelvis, and make sure it's comfortable. Feet are hip width apart, and then I'm just going to thrust down and back up, making sure to squeeze my glutes and my hamstrings as I come up. If you're doing the squat challenge, these will be, you can count these as part of that. So you're going to do 25 of those to start for the day. After you do that, you guys are going to go into the first group of exercises. And the first group, you guys are going to start out with pull-ups if you have access to a pull-up bar. If you don't have access to a pull-up bar, or you don't have bands because you can't do full group of pull-ups, then you're going to do a different exercise. Basically, I'm going to show you here because it's easy. You're going to have your hands, your fingers kind of pointing towards each other. Your forearms will be on the ground, and I will show that. But your hands are going to be extended a little bit. So let me move my weights out of the way here. So basically, your legs are going to be hip width apart. Have those hands extended, like I showed you, and you're going to, one hand at a time, you're going to bring it back, and you're going to follow your hand with your eyes, squeezing your back as you do this, and making sure you're not really rolling with this, but using your hand to guide you. So it's going to look like this and back down, and then you alternate. Really control that movement. Don't let your hands just drop. Control it, squeeze, and back down. All right, so if you're doing pull-ups, you're going to do 8. If you're doing those, you're going to do 10 per side. After that's completed, you're going to do behind the leg squats. Again, you can modify this by not having it weighted. You can decrease the number by 2, which would be 8 per side. Behind the leg squats, also known as curtsy squats, you're going to take your leg, bring it behind, come down, and bring it back. Opposite side then, down and back. Make sure that your knees are always aligned with your toes when you do this. Next thing that you guys are going to complete is called a push jerk. This is more of an explosive movement. It's not a jump, but it's a compound movement. So again, I'm going to show 2 ways. I'm going to show what it's going to look, what it would look like if you had a body bar, and you were able to utilize that at a gym. But I'll also show you what it will look like with weights. All right. So with weights, you're going to make sure, try to get those elbows nice and high. You're going to have that those weights on those shoulders. Tuck that chin, shoulders back and down. All right, so you're going to have that explosive movement where you dip. You're not going too far down in that squat. Butt is back and down. And as you lift up, you're going to go on those toes. All right, so that's important. So one motion, it's going to look like that. All right. So again, you're here and jerk up. All right. Another option with that If you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you don't feel like you have the form right, you can just go ahead and do push presses. So again, you really kind of want to have that form correct to do that. So a push press again. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, is just a dip and drive, okay? Dip and drive. And you will do 8 of those, no matter which one you choose. If you're in a gym, have access to an Olympic bar or a body bar, I will show you that movement. So again, you're going to take your weight, going to have the bar, going to have it that chin tucked, because believe me, you want that chin tucked so you don't hit your teeth, which I've done before. Feet are by your hips. Keep that bar up, and you're basically going to, when you dip, on your toes and drive up. Okay? So that's the push jerk that you guys will be completing. Or again, like I said, you can do a push press. That will be 8 reps. So right now we have 8, 10, 8. And last but not least are those Supermans. All right. And opposite arm, opposite leg, lift. Make sure everything's nice and tight when you're doing this. So you're going to lift that leg up. At the same time, you're lifting the arm, making sure that leg is nice and tight. Control it on the way up and control it on the way down. You'll do 10 per side. Stay on one side before you do the other side. All right, so you're going to complete 4 rounds of that. After you've completed that, you're going to go back and do 25 more hip thrusters. After that's complete, you're going to finish up with 2 exercises, 3 rounds, and there's going to be no like break, if you can, between each round. So you're just going to try to keep that momentum and that speed going while you do this. So if you have access to an ab mat, you're going to use an ab mat to do this. If you don't have access to an ab mat, you'll just take a weight and you're going to do those weighted crunches, feet flat on the ground. Here, when you're back, when you're on the ground, the weight is over your head, and you just simply come up and crunch. Okay? You will complete 15 of those. And then you're going to do those eccentric push-ups. And if you recall, the eccentric push-up is you're going to go down really slow, squeezing those shoulder blades, and then do a cheat up to come up. And you will do 6 of these. So again, eccentric push-up here. Squeeze those shoulder blades. That's your stabilizer. Come down. Oh, sorry. Do a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hand release. Go back on, cheat up back onto your knees, and then come back up and do it again with a hand release. Modification. I always tell people get that plank position first. Drop those knees and just do it on your knees. All right, so 3 rounds of that. You'll do 6 of those. 15 crunches with the weight. Modification. Again, you can always subtract 2. Or not for the push-ups. My modification I would suggest is that you still do all 6. You just put your knees down. That's it for the day. That should, if you're doing the squat challenge, that should get quite a few of those squats and hip thrusters out of the way. I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, like always, feel free to contact me. Thanks, guys.